What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Simple Minds, and we're returning to Real Cacophony, 1979. Thank you as always to Phil. And the next track has a single word title, notoriously difficult to get a sense of, but it's factory. Most fundamentally, a factory is a building or campus infrastructure in which manufacturing takes place. So in that regard, I suppose we could be talking about a literal factory. Of course, it's the kind of word that lends itself to analogical or figurative usage. So I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Simple Minds. The track is Factory, and it's from their 1979 album Real Cacophony. There's no part of this tune that wasn't fascinating. I mean, we've got things from rich organ-style chords to dirge bells to rapidly rolling percussion, this sort of echoed or almost out of time little guitar, not even flare, like drifting guitar, vocals which again remind me a bit of Fairy with Roxy Music. Indeed, the track overall had a bit of a Roxy Music vibe, but maybe also a bit like early Japan meets, I don't know, just it was very eccentric, but less so than a couple other tunes. I would say this is probably my favorite on the album so far, and even though it right at the beginning I again felt a bit like, wow, this is a bit odd and I'm not sure what's going on, within a minute or so it really sort of clicked with my brain, and I was enjoying just about every part of it. The different keyboard lines, there were like this almost ghostly, a bit haunting synth or keyboard bit, and sort of a bass groove. It just had a really dynamic and compelling sonic arrangement or construction and chronology. And indeed, speaking of chronology, the end, it sort of strips down and just has these big cycling drums with this, again, like dirge style bell, and it just gets to this much more minimal type of state than it was for most of the track. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happening. I really don't know what to make of it sonic, or lyrically rather. I will say a couple lines stood out. What was it, like something about not liking a man because he has a plan, and I think the plan was to escape. So that sounds like it could be from the factory, or maybe from a factory type environment where everything is mechanical and it's all about manufacturing a uniform conformity or a particular type of product, and maybe wanting to get outside that and be more creative, human, more random. But then it was like the answer lies within. I definitely heard that line repeated, and that speaks to, it's about some internal understanding and then maybe expressing or manifesting that, and it's not so much about any external factors that, or at least if it is about them, it has to start here and then maybe again be turned toward the external. So yeah, lyrically I don't really know what's happening. I suppose we biological organisms are all organic, at least in the case of Earth life. But yes, factories in a sense, we have moving parts and redundant systems and bits that are supposed to help repair things when they get damaged and so on. So I suppose it could be functioning on that kind of metaphorical level. But either way, a really compelling tune. Definitely, or I don't know if I would say definitely, because we're only, like halfway through the album, maybe not even that. But as of this point in the album, probably my favorite so far, and ultimately one that felt, even if it was still a bit sort of zany Roxy Music-esque, less all over the place than a couple of the previous tunes. It felt a bit more cohesive and tight sonically. So I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.